Hello class. Today we are going to talk about the government, why we have governments, and which type of government is best. Why government? But Mr. Murray, government is so boring, and people that talk about government generally criticize the government. There's too many taxes, or I hate politicians. So why do we even have to talk about this, and why do we even have governments? Well, there are two main reasons for governments. The big reason is to organize the nation, and a second reason is an attempt to keep the citizens safe or protection. And so the reason we have governments is because on our own, we simply don't have the time, and there's too many ideas and too many different people and too many disagreements. Still, why are there so many types of governments? Well, it's based on, usually, the fact that cultures have many differences. Many cultures are different from one another. We value different things. We have different beliefs and a different history. It all starts off with this idea of society. A society is really nothing more than a group of people who choose, for whatever reason, to live together in a certain area or a region of the world. Now, society are groups of people who generally get along because they share common beliefs. Now, these beliefs can come from religion. It can come from common traditions that they have throughout their history. It can come through culture. It can come through shared language even. So societies tend to get along when they have things in common. But eventually, those societies are going to begin interacting with other cultures. Sometimes that's due to immigration. Other times it's due to countries wanting to trade with each other, and so they have to figure out how to get along with each other, because anytime we come into contact with other people, there's a certain level of fear. So how do we avoid conflict that fear brings with it? Well, we organize or develop governments. The government, once again, is designed to keep the people safe and organized, and to make the rules fair for as many of the people as possible. Now, to make these rules fair, what governments do is they create laws. These laws are designed, or should be designed most of the time, to benefit the most people within the society. It's a shared common belief of what's right and wrong. So why the law? Well, making it as simple as possible, the laws are there to protect the people, to maintain order within the society, and allow the citizens enough freedom to seek personal happiness in their lives through their work or whatever else. So when the people get together, they begin to ask certain questions. How are we going to organize all of this? What type of government do we want? And how much power should we give the government that we want to lead us? Those are questions that people ask in all countries. The national government, it's also known as the central authority. And for the state of Georgia, this becomes a very important and difficult thing to sometimes remember. The central authority is the same thing as the national government. For some, the leaders are like gods. For others, it's military people that take over. For others, it's kind of like a family business with kings and queens and princes. So which type of government is right? Well, it can depend on a lot of different things. For example, that country's cultures, their values, their beliefs, their religion, their traditions, their history. What do they share in common? If, for example, sharing power and responsibility and decision-making throughout the nation is important to a group of people because they think that no one person or one group of people can handle all of the problems or situations that might come up, then a federal system is probably the best bet. It is a national government, again, that central authority, but it allows states or smaller regions, sometimes called provinces, to help organize the laws for the entire country. In the United States, we have a national government, we have state governments, we have city governments, county governments. If, on the other hand, making all the decisions for all of the people, all of the time is something that your culture has done for many, many years, then if that kind of thing is important to you, then a unitary system of government is most likely the kind that they will choose. That's when the national government or that central authority is given all of the power to make the laws for the people of the land. The national government or that central authority is all you need. The leader believes that he can make the best decisions for everyone all the time. A third possibility that happens sometimes, but not very often, is when countries decide that it's okay to give up some of their national power or sovereignty to work together with other nations for a common cause. If that becomes important, then a confederation style of government can be established. The United Nations, like in Hotel Rwanda, OPEC, the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, those are examples of types of confederation systems. It's working together for a common good. Now, in this chart, the amount of power the central authority has can go from 0 power to total power. A confederation, nations give up some of their power. In a federal government, they share it. And in a unitary government, the central authority has all of the power to make the laws. So here's your final question based on this introduction to certain kinds of governments. Look at the diagram from that previous picture and then explain why unitary, federal, and confederation styles of government are placed where they are in that picture. You can post your response on Facebook under any of the places where I post today's lesson. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to having a good discussion in class.